Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're attempting to save Earth in style with everything you need to know before joining Eve to take on the Naytiba invading Earth.
Taki? Eve, are you alright? This place is dangerous. Take my hand.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. A real doll.
Eve, pull yourself together.
Unsurprisingly, there has been quite a lot of online discussion regarding the main character Eve and her design. What is often overlooked during many of these discussions is the fact that Eve's entire model is based on real-life South Korean model Shin Jae-eun. Shin was 3D scanned and her figure was used as the basis for Eve's entire model, and developer ShiftUp made use of the same technology for many of the game's other characters as well. The developer has made it no secret they wanted one of the most beautiful protagonists in gaming to follow in the footsteps of the likes of 2B and Bayonetta. And considering how much discussion has been made around Eve's impressive assets, it would seem they more than succeeded. Nier and Far. ShiftUp has made no attempt to hide their inspirations from the beloved Nier automata, and much of Stellar Blade's design reflects the love for that title, with the developer even recruiting Nier Automata's composer to work on their game. Stellar Blade also closely follows Automato's strengths with a wealth of gameplay variety to keep the player constantly engaged. While the final game is unlikely to take the same kitchen sink approach to the amount of varying gameplay mechanics as its contemporary, Stellar Blade has showcased several activities beyond the game's stellar combat. Using Adam's robotic companion, Eve will eventually unlock a gun attachment to deal with distant foes and target specific weaknesses, as well as tackle climbing and swimming sections which often hide valuable resources.
What's wrong?
It's nothing.
The backstory.
Eve, what are you going to do after you defeat the Alpha Naytiba?
All airborne squad members exist for one sole purpose. All we must do is complete the mission.
In the world of Stellar Blade, humanity has fled the Earth after the invasion of the Naytiba, a grotesque and violent alien race that has a large variety of foot soldiers to hunt down the remaining human survivors. Eve is part of an airborne infantry raised off-world that are dropped onto Earth in an attempt to reclaim the planet. Eve, having been raised entirely off-world, is naive to many of the things about Earth. This naivety is balanced out by her companion Adam, an Earth survivor who accompanies Eve in her journey to kill the Alpha Naytiba. Eve can use Adam's robotic android to scan the environment and eventually use it as a weapon thanks to another companion she meets, Lily, who will upgrade Eve's equipment and unlock new abilities for her.
The drone is different.
This is no longer the drone you knew.
Semi-linear.
The crack is quite deep. It's going to be difficult to pass. We'll have to go across, past the parking tower.
The world of Stellar Blade isn't fully open world and is instead considered a semi-open world, in which the player explores connected areas such as the Great Desert and the Wasteland. As the story progresses, Eve will find herself in the Undercity of Zion and encounters several survivors of the Naytiba invasion who view Eve as some kind of deity. Likewise, they will often request her assistance through various side quests and errands which will usually involve Eve exploring off the beaten path. While Stellar Blade is a mostly linear adventure, some areas will open up for further exploration and players will find not only further backstory about the invasion and the fall of humanity, but also upgrades to enhance Eve's combat abilities. The more of these side quests Eve completes, the more resources Zion will acquire to aid the survivors and her legend will continue to grow.
Can't believe the angel is here.
More shadow than devil.
Behind you. dead body as its host.
While the game initially presented its gameplay closer to Devil May Cry hack and slash, the real meat of Stellar Blade's combat is more akin to Sekiro with a distinct focus on defensive moves and strategy. The Naytibas can pack a serious punch, and Eve has a very small window in which to block and parry these moves without getting stuck in a chain of attacks that will quickly eat away at her health. While Stellar Blade isn't as punishing as FromSoft's titles, the game does prioritize a more tactical approach to encounters and isn't afraid to punish players for slipping up. Thankfully, Stellar Blade will offer difficulty options, but even on story mode difficulty, the game will still expect you to learn your opponent's moves and timing, lest you end up staring at a game over screen. Stellar combat.
Adam, get back!
Although Stellar Blade's combat is more focused on defense rather than offense, that doesn't mean you don't have the power to lay the smackdown when the moment arises. Players are able to use defensive beta skills which can range from flashy takedown moves to more long-range attacks, and each one is oftentimes fueled by screen-filling effects as well as devastating damage if they connect. Eve will be able to upgrade 5 separate skill trees, and thankfully, each one of the upgrades is impactful on the gameplay, so you won't need to be worried you wasted your skill points, although you can respec Eve at campfires if you so choose. Enemies will also have specific telegraphed moves marked by specific colors that can be countered or need to be avoided altogether. Given that even story mode will offer a challenge, players will need all the help they can get. Cozy campfire.
How come they set up a camp in a corner like this?
Well, the supply camp also serves as an important base.
In keeping with the Soulsborne style, Eve will have access to numerous campsites around the world where she can rest and upgrade her abilities. However, in doing so, all the previously defeated Naytibas will also respawn. The campfires also serve another purpose, as some of these rest stops will trigger cinematics that help flesh out the backstory and lore of the world, so tracking all of these areas of respite are far more important than simply taking a break. Eve can also resupply her inventory and purchase new upgrades and abilities, and even enter a combat arena to try out her new moves. Campsites also have numerous music tracks that the player can select from and kick back and relax to the soothing tunes after a particularly difficult encounter. Honestly, the whole area is just a vibe and we're all here for it.
It could also mean that this place is very dangerous.
Then I guess this place could be useful for us.
A song for every occasion. Much like any hack and slasher worth its salt, Stellar Blade will feature a dynamic soundtrack mostly composed by Nier Automata's aforementioned composer, and there are over 100 tracks on the game's soundtrack. The vast majority of tracks also include some kind of chorus or human vocalization, further selling the isolation and ambiance of the apocalyptic world. As we mentioned earlier, many of these songs are playable options when resting by the campfire, so you can enjoy a majority of the game's soundtrack during your downtime. The game will also be released in 22 languages and 9 dub options, but unfortunately the Japanese dub will only be available in Japan. Dress to impress. According to developer ShiftUp, Stellar Blade will have 30 outfits for Eve at launch, and all of these outfits can be earned or found within the game, with no plans for microtransaction cosmetics or otherwise. Some retailers will have specific pre-order outfits and skins available, but it's nice to know players aren't missing out on any outfits depending on where they pre-order the game, and will only be unlocking them earlier than if they tried to find them in-game. Along with the numerous skins and outfits, players will also be able to customize Eve's hairstyle as well as have access to cosmetic jewelry such as earrings and glasses to further customize your own personal Eve during your playthrough. stellar details.
To think that the point of your existence is to snuff out another species. No fun in that.
Created by developer ShiftUp, most well known for their wildly popular mobile titles Blade Soul and Destiny Child, Stellar Blade, originally codenamed Project Eve, marks the developer's first foray into big-budget console gaming. The third-person hack-and-slasher is rated M for blood, violence, and some nudity. ShiftUp estimates Stellar Blade will take players roughly 25 hours to complete the main game, and those going for 100% completion could easily double that number. After a short delay, Stellar Blade will finally be released as a PS5 exclusive on April 26, and a demo, which we highly recommend checking out before the game's final release, is available now, and your progress also carries over to the base game.
Something is falling from the sky. A strange sensation. This must be Earth's rain.
We can admire the scenery later. We have a job to do here.
What are you most looking forward to in Stellar Blade? Control your urges and let us know in the comments below. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from MojoPlays, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.